Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we have got the first race of the 2024 Zwift Racing League season. We are here in Watopia, Ocean Lava Cliffside Loop, and this is my first race back in the B category proper since upgrading, and I was pretty nervous actually pre-race about this one. I got dropped in my last race, in my last video, and yeah, I was just really trying my best now to concentrate and not finishing last in this race, and to stay in the main pack for as long as I possibly could. You know, it's my new goals. I'm not at the front end of C anymore. I'm kind of around the mid to low end of B. So, you know, different goals, but actually a really exciting race, and I was pretty happy with this one considering it was my first one back. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about low cadence. Now, normally I am around about the 75 to 85 cadence as well. And I had a comment the other day on one of my videos that said perhaps I should use a higher cadence, might help me push out more watts. And I'm just interested really to hear what everybody else thinks, because, you know, a higher cadence, I believe, is used by a lot of the kind of pro racers outdoors. And whenever I look on the Zwift kind of you know, A races or the professional races, they seem to have a much higher cadence. They're not around, you know, anywhere near the 70s. So I'm just interested to hear what everyone thinks, really. Do you think that I should, I don't know, do a little bit of training to try and get a higher cadence? Will that help me? I'm not really sure. Or is cadence really a personal preference? I'd just be really interested to hear what everybody thinks. Now, back to the race, we can see that we've just come up the Italian Villa's little gravel track here. And I knew this was going to be the first little test, as you can see by the power graph down the bottom. And I was actually feeling quite good at this point. The heart rate is not too high, around 163. And I'm pushing out, a few good watts for me, so around about the, just over the 300 mark. And actually, surprisingly, my cadence at this point is around, the high 80s, which is unusual for me, because normally that sort of cadence I am pushing, or that sort of wattage I'm pushing a much lower cadence. So we're just going to crest here, and job number one is done, and that is survived that first little kick. Now, I would have been very, very disappointed if I'd lost the back of the group there. I definitely had more in me than that, and as you can see, I'm still there front of the group, as are my teammates, which is very, very cool. But I knew there wasn't going to be much recovery coming up to the epic, or the start of the epic KOM, which is really the main point which I thought it would kind of break up at. And I've just got to do my best, maybe 1 minute, 2 minute power. And then the other interesting thing about this little climb is it's quite steep at first, and then it kind of levels off a bit, and it's that leveling off bit that I think was going to be the main key. So I knew coming up to this epic KOM there's going to be a little bit of a push here just before it, and here we go then. I'm doing my best. I'm absolutely doing my best here, and this was super painful. So for those of you that raced in this one, how did you find it? I found it so difficult. I mean, it was at this point I'm okay, and then round about here I'm like, I've got really nothing left at all. But I was just trying to hang on to, whoever I could to try and get me up this hill. Now, I've still got my power up, and that was kind of, for me, a bit of an emergency power up. So if I felt that there was a group that was forming near me after this little bend, I was ready to push the power up just to make sure that I was able to stay with a group that's not the back group. And I'm obviously not too disappointed that I'm not with the front group, because, as I say, at the moment that is not the goal to finish first. Well, I'd love to finish, first or top 10 or whatever, but it's just not realistic at the moment. So for me, it's just to stay within a group within, the mid B range. And as you can see, my teammate John, he's coming past me here now. I kind of think that John and I are a similar ability. John's he's, I would say, a more experienced B rider than I am, but just to have him there, as you say, I popped my power up and I just wanted to stay with him. So that was really good that he came past at that exact moment, because I was really, really feeling it. And my heart rate is telling that story as well. So, 170 beats per minute at the moment, which is not my highest. My max heart rate's around 184, and I haven't actually hit that for a little while now. So whether or not that means I'm a little bit fatigued, or, I have been doing a lot of Zwifting, so whether or not my body is used to that, I'm not sure. And I can absolutely tell you, at this point in the race, I was just barely hanging on, able to do 250 to 300 watts, and trying to get a little bit of a rest wherever I could. Now, I also knew that this race was going to be around the 30-minute mark, so I'm counting down the minutes until that now finishes. And I knew that we had a bit of a decline coming, but I didn't know whether there would be a little push here or a little surge just before the actual bridge itself, but luckily for me that there wasn't, as you can see. And yeah, I've just managed to find myself a nice little group here, which at this point, I'm now just going to try and get some recovery on this downhill. But I was pretty pleased at this stage. But let me tell you, that was a super difficult effort. I was breathing very, very heavily. In fact, probably the hardest I've tried for a long time. And I really didn't want to give up. I really, said to myself, right, stay with this group. Try and stay with John for as long as I can do. And it did seem to work. And luckily for us, there doesn't seem to be another group, behind that's making a bit of a charge, and I don't really think that we've got it in us to move up to the group ahead. But the top position in this group is 18th, and I think down to 28th, so there's a good chance that I will get a pretty decent result here as we come up this tiny little kicker here just before the finish. Now, I haven't got too bad a sprint, but I was feeling I was in so much pain right now, so I just wanted to do my best to try and get the best sprint away and finish up as high as possible. And yeah, I'm going to just try and latch onto this front group. Now, unfortunately, I did actually use my power up, so I knew that there'd be a few of those kicking about. As you can see, one goes off there. But I'm going to do my best here just to hang on. And, it's good to have a little bit of inter-house rivalry. So if I can get as near to John as possible, that would be great, and beat a few others. I'll be super happy with that. But John has actually saved his power up, so off he goes. And I just get my head down and try and follow the best that I can here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do, anything else. But yeah, I am happy with 27th position on the road, which for my first B race back proper, I will absolutely take that. And for the team, it meant second place on the day. We had some really strong performances there from the guys. So super happy with second place. And just to put the old Zwift power up, really happy with my normalised power there, I think of around 280. So lots of things to build on there. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.